These gridiron moguls are not all created equal.
I think the fact that this franchise has not done better the last 2 or 3 years the blame lies squarely with me.
So I think it's time to take a gander around the league and pick out the 5 best and, of course, the 5 worst NFL owners in the game today. Best, Clark Hunt, Kansas City Chiefs. While he may have gotten a woefully low grade from the NFLPA following their latest team survey, it's hard to argue that Clark Hunt is not among the best, if not the best owner in the entire NFL right now. The report stated that players are frustrated by their workplace offerings, specifically noting the quality of care and out-of-date facilities. Hunt allegedly promised to renovate back in 2022 following the season, which unfortunately was not delivered on. But while Hunt may come up short delivering the bells and whistles, he has excelled at doing what matters most: putting together a winning football organization. And of course, keeping the fan base happy and coming back for more. And I'm not just talking about this iteration of the Chiefs that is otherworldly good with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes leading the charge. The Chiefs are one of the oldest pro football franchises out there, and his family tradition has been breeding winning football. Ask Chargers fans if they'd rather have a shiny new stadium like SoFi or an owner that is actually dedicated to winning football games on the field. Worst, McCaskey family, Chicago Bears. Ever since her father's passing in 1983, the only daughter of legendary Pro Football Hall of Famer George Halas, Virginia Halas McCaskey, has served as the Bears' principal owner, at least in name. There are a lot of different McCaskeys in the kitchen that is the Bears front office, but the chairman, George H. McCaskey, is the one ultimately calling all the shots, or at least most of them. And let's just say that it doesn't typically go too well for him or the rest of the McCaskey clan. The Bears, despite inhabiting one of the largest metropolitan areas and serving one of the largest markets in the game, with a die-hard fan base to boot, are regularly run like a mom-and-pop shop. The McCaskey's entire family fortune is tied up in the team, so they don't have the financial flexibility that some of the other owners around the league, many of which are backed by massive groups with significant resources, do. And the folks in charge in Chicago continue to make these same boneheaded mistakes year in and year out. It does look like they are starting to turn the page ever so slightly with the latest regime that they put in charge of football ops, but I don't know. The Bears definitely have some of that Cowboys, what can go wrong will go wrong to them, and it just feels like we are just waiting for the shoe to drop on this latest iteration of the team. All that dysfunction and the subsequent shortcomings tie back to the failings of the ownership group. Best, Art Rooney II, Pittsburgh Steelers. The Rooney family is synonymous with the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, and honestly, just the wider NFL brand as a whole. Art Rooney Sr. founded the Pittsburgh Steelers back in 1933. Initially named the Pittsburgh Pirates, the team was later renamed to the Steelers to, well, you know, reflect that whole city's deep ties to the steel industry. I'm sure you've heard all about it. The team struggled in its early years, but once Rooney Sr. hired Chuck Noll to lead the team on the sidelines, absolutely everything changed. They won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years and became the model of consistency. Something that has lived on as the team has been handed down, first to Dan Rooney and now to Art Rooney II. The Steelers have remained one of the most stable franchises in the NFL, known for their consistent performance and long-term coaching tenures. And they have definitely done their fair share of winning. You can tell when you hear Steelers players, present and former, talk about Art in the media, just how impactful his presence on the team has been. Worst, Jimmy Haslam, Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns aren't exactly the pinnacle of success in the NFL, but I think it's hard to argue that their fortunes haven't somehow gotten worse since Jimmy Haslam purchased the team in 2012. He is the prototypical, impulsive rich guy owner, and his rash decision-making has continued to cause issues for this team year in and year out. He fired Tom Heckert as general manager and Pat Shurmur as head coach after taking over the team, instead hiring Michael Lombardi and Rod Chudzinski to assume those roles. They made it all of 1 year. The next duo, Ray Farmer and Mike Patine, well, they made it 2 years. This is just one example in a long line of terrible decisions from Haslam. After all, we're talking about the guy guy that both drafted Johnny Manziel in the first round, reportedly overruling the player personnel execs in the front office, and put Deshaun Watson on that ridiculous $200+ million fully guaranteed contract. You know, the first of its kind after his fallout with the Houston Texans. Simply put, this guy is just about as bad as it gets. And literally, any success that the Browns manage to muster up in the coming years is in spite of Haslam, not because of him. Best, Jeffrey Lurie, Philadelphia Eagles. After finally getting over the hump and capturing a long-awaited Super Bowl for the city of brotherly love, it became official. Jeffrey Lurie established himself as one of the best owners in the NFL. Ever since his tenure in the mid-90s, the Eagles have largely fostered a culture of success and stability within the Philadelphia Eagles organization. Lurie's success stems from his strategic approach to leadership and management. He has a keen eye for hiring the right personnel at the right time. Think about his decision to bring in head coach Doug Peterson and general manager Howie Roseman. Both played pivotal roles in the team's Super Bowl run. Lurie's also managed to be flexible and seems to know when to change course rather than go down with a bad idea for pride's sake. Eagles fans are tough to face, and I'm sure Lurie still has some haters out there, but you know, it's Philly. Those fans will hate on just about anything. Very emotional bunch. But between his experience, demeanor, and understanding of the game, he is easily one of the top 5 owners in the league. There is no doubt about that. Worst, David Tepper, Carolina Panthers. Since acquiring the team in 2018, Tepper's leadership has been characterized by a lack of continuity and poor decision-making. We aren't just talking about the crazy decision to move up and sacrifice a boatload of valuable draft capital to take Bryce Young #1 overall over CJ Stroud, but frankly, just really basic stuff, like his inability to get along with other execs or his coaches, or his unwillingness not to pour drinks on his own fans' head. You are the owner of an NFL franchise, my man. Get it together! Not to mention that this is a guy that's supposed to be some epic deal-making financier. Yet his failed practice facility project in Rock Hill, South Carolina just resulted in a massive loss for the organization, and hey, guess what? No practice site for the team. All things considered, David Tepper actually might be the single worst owner in the game today. Dan Snyder is no longer here to take that crown, and Tepper's team has just been so terrible that he has really just turned himself into a massive laughingstock. Best, Steve Bisciotti, Baltimore Ravens. Steve Bisciotti is easily among the tops in the league when it comes to running a professional organization. Off the field, Bisciotti is highly respected for his player-centric philosophy. Year in and year out, he continues to invest in top-notch facilities and support systems for his most valuable asset. So much so that the franchise is regularly recognized across the league. His commitment to creating a positive work environment has been instrumental in attracting and retaining top talent, which may sound more like an HR software commercial, but it is the truth of the Baltimore Ravens organization. Bisciotti has created such a strong infrastructure and culture that players want to go there. And more importantly, perhaps, they want to stay there. He's also proven to possess a great eye for management talent, namely head coach John Harbaugh and GM Ozzie Newsome, both of whom are tops in the league at their respective positions. It's hard to do a much better job than Steve Bisciotti. Once this team gets back over the hump and he lifts his second Lombardi trophy, people will really start to put some respect on his name around the league. Worst, Woody Johnson, New York Jets. Woody Johnson's tenure as the owner of the New York Jets has been fraught with instability and poor decision-making. Cough, cough, looking at you, Tim Tebow. Anyways, placing Johnson among the worst owners in the NFL is pretty much a no-brainer here. Ever since he acquired the team back in 2000, Johnson's leadership, if you want to call it that, has just been abysmal, which has resonated throughout the entire organization in just a number of ways, including a lack of continuity, questionable management choices, and just outright poor performance. Although I don't think we really need to tell you that. Man, it has to be painful as a Jets fan to watch his erratic decision-making play out. Whether it was bringing in a bozo like Adam Gase to coach the team, and then for some reason keeping him over everyone else when things went south, or the failed big-name acquisitions like the Brett Favre deal, or up until this point, the Aaron Rodgers trade. It's just everything that Johnson touches seems to turn to ash. And the Jets fans, passionate as they are one of the best groups out there at letting the world know exactly how they feel about their favorite team's terrible owner. Best, Robert Kraft, New England Patriots. Robert Kraft is widely regarded as one of the best owners in the NFL, thanks to his transformative impact on the New England Patriots since purchasing the team back in 1994. Save the last few seasons post-Tom Brady, his ownership turned the Patriots from a laughingstock to the model of sustained success and excellence in the league. Kraft's decision to hire head coach Bill Belichick away from the rival New York Jets in 2000 was a masterstroke, leading to an unprecedented era of dominance. Together, Kraft and Belichick and Sue Brady would build a dynasty spanning 2 decades, during which they won 6 Super Bowl titles and consistently competed at the highest of levels. Kraft's commitment to creating a winning culture extends beyond just the front office, though. Over the years, he has invested heavily in state-of-the-art facilities and support systems, ensuring that players and staff alike have the resources that they need in order to succeed. Obviously, things aren't quite what they used to be in Foxborough, but you know, the fact that Kraft was able to have sustained success at the level that he did for as long as he did is a marvel in and of itself. Worst, Jody Allen, Seattle Seahawks. Since assuming control of the Seattle Seahawks following her brother Paul Allen's death in 2018, Jody Allen's leadership has raised concerns about the franchise's direction and its future. Despite being once regarded as one of the top organizations in the league operationally, the Seahawks have begun to lag behind other franchises, at least in terms of player support systems and amenities, contributing to a less than optimal environment for players and staff. Jody, or whoever the heck she appointed to handle key personnel decisions, has also really struggled. Obviously, the play on the field had started to decline in recent years, but that was largely due to the organization's dysfunction and their inability to actually execute in the front office, more so than Carroll's ability to actually run the show on the field. But hey, which NFL owners do you think are the best? Which ones do you think are the worst? Who do you think we got wrong here? Who do you think we got right? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, well, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.